My name is Tommy McBride. I'm the chairperson of Irish North Connecticut. I've been a member of the club since, as I mentioned, I think I joined in 1972. I'm a lifetime member. My whole career, if you will, start as far as the Irish American Home Society started back in 1970. I had just graduated from high school. I grew up in Hartford. I went to Buckley High School in the south end of Hartford, and a lot of my friends happened to be Italian, of the Italian persuasion, but a few were for Irish, and they mentioned that they were coming over to the club to play Irish football. So I got involved a little bit in that regard. And so in the 70s, I say it was 1971, 72, I became a member of the Irish American Home Society, and I've been a member ever since. My dad's family, McBride clan, came from Donegal. So you know, he was very active here in his young days. Well, I shouldn't say here because it was in Hartford over on Grove Street, but he was a member there. And my mom's family, they're Keegans, and they're from Leitrim. So as you grow up, as you grew up in an Irish family, we had 10 in our family, so we had a pretty good fight. 5 boys, 5 girls. So it was an even battle for many years. But talking to my grandparents and everything, telling us the stories about Ireland. My grandmother, told me about, her mother telling her about the famine and all that back in 1847, 1845. So you start learning your history, and what happens is it becomes part of you. And as you get older and you have kids, you tell your kids the same stories. They want to know about their heritage. My son and daughter are members here at the Irish American Home Society. They've been members for about 10 years now. So it's just it's a great opportunity to share stories and share your heritage. And you couldn't have picked a better place to do it than here in Glastonbury. There was a lot of activities going on here as far as constantly upgrading the facility here. There used to be a front entranceway over in the corner that they decided they were going to change the entranceway because it was too steep. And some of the older members were having a difficult time of getting up and down the stairs. It's a little narrow, and guys could come down easy, but after they had a few pints, it was tough going back up. So they closed it off and opened up the entrance on the side. So a lot of guys were involved in the labor part of that. I wasn't a mason or any type of carpenter, but I was able to help them lug materials in and out of the club. So that was my first involvement. And then they had a lot of Irish festivals here, needing help with setting up tents and whatnot. Massive festivals over the years that brought in people from all over Connecticut and beyond. And so they need a lot of help to make sure that you had people to park cars, direct traffic, set up tents, as I said, and be around to make sure that everything went well. And it was all volunteer work and very enjoyable. Back in the early 70s, I'll go into maybe 68, 69. 69 was the infamous Bloody Sunday massacre in Derry back in 1969. That got international attention. I read about it and watched it on television and was really shocked by what was going on. And it was all based at that time on civil rights, the same types of civil rights we were going through in the 60s here in this country. And that's what the Irish were doing in Ireland at the time, trying to do the same types of demonstrations, protesting inequities, housing, jobs, and whatnot. And it got to a boiling point where Bloody Sunday happened. And that's kind of when I started getting involved and being a member here, but also even mentioning going to some other places in the south end of Hartford. There was a few Irish bars at the time. The Maple Cafe, which Brendan Downs was one of the proprietors. Bud Mann, a former city treasurer, owned the Summit Hill. That was another Irish establishment. And meeting and talking to some of the elder Irish who were there, who were telling me stories about what was going on in Ireland. that kind of percolated something inside of me that wanted me to get more involved. And so in the 1970s, I'll say 72, 73, Pat Sayers was the impetus of getting Irish Northern Aid in Hartford, and then broadening out. And then, as I mentioned, Brendan Downs was involved, Rich Lawler was involved. So I started getting involved heavily like in the mid 70s. And here I am, 2024, being the chairperson of it, and the fight continues. Rich was the vice chairman of the Northern Aid, the National Northern Aid Committee. So he was the vice chair for many, many years. I became chairman probably in the mid 80s. Rich was elevated to the national level, so I took over for his spot. And doesn't seem like it's been that long, but it's been since 1985. So do the math; it's many, many years. But it's gone by fast, and so many things have happened, and so many things have changed. Back in the hunger striker days in the early 80s, on through the 80s and into the 90s, and the Good Friday Agreement in 1995 or 1998. So many things have happened. This was our meeting place. The Irish Northern Aid Committee met here every third Friday until this day meets every third Friday of the month. We have our meetings here at the Irish American Home. Never went anyplace else. Never changed the day. Never changed the time. Only because as we got into the situation got bigger and more members joined, we wanted to make sure that we had a consistent place to be on a consistent day, so there was no miscommunications along the way. It was very, very important for us to keep our group together as a cohesive unit, and because of the Irish American Home, we were able to do that and broaden our base. People who weren't part of Irish Northern Aid were members here, and they saw the meetings going on, and they said, what's going on? They're inquisitive, and can we sit in? A few people wanted to sit in every month, and we got more and more people coming in, and then they joined, and then it just got to a point where we were having social events. We were having bands from Ireland who wanted to come here to support Irish Northern Aid. The Dublin City Ramblers, the Wolf Tones, Paddy Noonan, Paddy Riley. They all played here in Glastonbury because they wanted to be a part of what was going on, and they enjoyed being here in Glastonbury at the Irish American Home Society. So they enjoyed being here the first time, and they came back consecutive years for many, many years. So, and again, we've had great support here. If it wasn't for this place, it's very, very difficult for a group like ours because for many, many years, we were considered the outcasts because we were, quote unquote, the terrorists supporting the Irish Republican Army, and that was the farthest thing from the truth. Our objective from day one was to support political prisoners and their families. So when we found out people were being incarcerated, committing no crime, just being picked up off the streets because they lived in a certain neighborhood, they're a certain last name, because they might have been Catholics, they were incarcerated, and they could spend up to 30 to 60 days without any help to their families. So we decided we were going to step forward and try to raise money to make sure we got money to the prisoners and to their families. One of the best stories about here is when back in the 90s, when Jerry Adams, who was the president of Sinn Féin, was giving an opportunity to come to America for the first time during President Clinton's presidency. He came to New York for one day, and the year after that, he was going to be coming to the Northeast. So we had him. We talked to Senator Ted Kennedy, who was Senator of Massachusetts, of course, and he was going to be in. Jerry Adams was going to be in Boston, Springfield, and we asked if he can come and visit us here in Hartford, and he did that, and we had a massive, upstairs and downstairs, this place was packed just to see Jerry Adams, and he's been back here a few more times doing some things with Irish Northern Aid. So that was a pretty exciting time for me personally, for Irish Northern Aid, and most especially the Irish American Home for having him here. Right now in 2024, our major goal, which has been first and foremost for forever, is a united Ireland, and we're hoping for a 32 county country, and we're getting closer. Things are happening very, very rapidly over there, and so we think that if we continue to stay focused and stay strong as a group, in my lifetime, we might see a united Ireland, and that's kind of what it's all about, and that's why we're here.